Hi friend, I just wanted to take a minute to invite you to our Lash Biz Babes Experience 2026. This is a one-day all online event happening on May 2nd, and our theme for the year is going all in. We are shaking things up and doing it differently than anyone ever has before. This is going to be an all online event as usual, but it's going to be 100% a curated journey throughout your day as we guide you through the mindset, strategy, and passion needed to go all in on your business to make it your best year in business yet. All lash artists, estheticians, and beauty professionals are invited to join us. There will be guided sessions, interactive workshops, a panel discussion, and big giveaways happening throughout that whole day. And tickets are on sale now for only $199. Payment plans are available. Let's go all in on our businesses for 2026 together. All the details and the link for tickets are down in the show notes below. I would love to have you join us online in May.
Welcome to Lash Biz Babes, the podcast for solo beauty business owners who want to build a full clientele and create a life and business that they truly love. My name is Erica and I'm your host. I've been a lash artist for 7.5 years. I'm a lash artist turned beauty business coach and lash educator. And this week we're going to be talking about recession proofing your beauty business. Now, I know when we talk recession, it's a little bit scary. It brings up a lot of fear and, it's nerve-wracking and very rightfully so. Like, honestly, that's very understandable. But the thing about it, and one thing that I want to first point out is that even though it does bring up feelings of fear and nervousness, we can't lead our businesses with those fears. We can't be making decisions in our businesses like fear-based decisions or nerve-based decisions. Like, we want to be able to confidently lead our businesses and confidently grow our businesses. So this is my intent with this episode, is just to help you feel a little bit more empowered with the decisions that you're making within your business and just help you solidify different areas and aspects of your business so that if a recession does happen, or possibly when a recession does happen, whether that's sometime in the near future or possibly, further out in the future, that you feel, I don't want to say necessarily ready to take that on, because who really wants to take on business? It's a lot. But at the same time, that you feel like it is something that you can take on and that you are prepared for it and you're ready to step into that role of your business owner who knows their stuff and is ready for this. So, and just a little bit more prepared and confident. So we're going to talk about, we've got, 4 different sections of this. I'm like, what's the right word? 4 different sections of this, and we're going to talk about each one in depth. So the very first one that I want to talk about is the quality of your services. So for me, when I teach quality of services and when I think of quality of services, what it really boils down to, and the main driving factor behind this for me, is catering your services to give your clients the best possible outcome. And so there's a lot that goes into this, but it's really sitting down and thinking about your services in the terms of, how can I make this just really great for my clients? Not just the quality of their service, but the quality of their experience, the whole entire service as a whole. So the first thing with this that we're going to talk about is the client experience side of it, because a lot of times when we talk about quality of service, you think about the quality of the products and things, which we are going to talk about, but I think the experience side of it gets a little bit overlooked, but it is just as important as the quality of your products or the quality of your education, because the experience can make or break the service for clients. And a lot of times, even if the quality of the service itself isn't as good as others in your area, maybe you're newer and you're still learning or whatever it may be, if you can give them a good experience, it's going to keep them coming back. And it really plays into a lot of, how many people they'll tell about you, because if you give them a good service and they really like you, they're going to tell everyone about you, and they're going to like support you no matter what. So the experience is just as important. And so with the client experience, I always think about it in terms of from the very first interaction you have with them to the end of the service and beyond, like checkout and beyond. So this really starts with the first impression that they get with you. And that's when they first hear about you. So whether that's they've heard about you from a friend and, their friend has told you about them, and then they go and like look you up online, or maybe they find you online to begin with. And, what does your online presence convey? What first impression does it give them of you? And is that a good one? Like, is it a good experience for them? Can they find the information that they're looking for? Can they find out a little bit about you as the service provider and like what your background is? Because there is more push, and I feel like consumers are just trying to educate themselves a little bit more, especially within the beauty industry. Like a lot of people do recognize that they want to find someone who's licensed and certified, and like they want to make sure they have the education behind the services. So, can they find that out about you? Can they find out where you're located? Can they find out what services you offer? Can they figure out which service is going to be best for them? Like, these are the types of things. Like, is the experience you're giving them from that first impression, that very first time that they hear about you, is that a good one? And really actually sitting down and thinking about that, and then like the process of the step-by-step flow that they go through from there. So there should be a flow established from when they first find you and hear about you to when they like find that information that they're looking for, to when they find how to book with you, to how actually the booking process, to like the communication in between them booking with you and actually coming in for their appointment, and then, actually coming in, and then the service, and then the checkout. Like, there should be a flow established to where it's a good experience. Exactly step by step what they're going to need to do through the whole thing, and you can uphold the same quality of experience for every single client who comes through your door every single time. Like, there's never like inconsistency in that experience because you have that step-by-step flow. So this is really how I teach client experience and how I feel about it. It's really from that very first moment that they hear about you, whether that's online, in person, or any other way. Is that a good first impression? Is it a good experience for them? How is that step-by-step process after that, from finding you to booking with you to coming in, and then like at the service, obviously, like what's the process that you do from when they come in? Like, do you greet them? Do you offer them a drink? Do you offer like water or something? Do you do a consultation? Do you do consent forms? Like, do you have a process in place, and is it consistent? And then also, is it a good experience? And how can you make that experience more personable, more customized, more comfortable, more pleasant for them? Like, these are the types of things to be thinking about when you're thinking about their client experience. And then also, it goes from the start to the end, not just like when they are done with their service and they check out. Like, are you following up with them afterwards? Are you following up with them when they come back in for their next appointment and see how it was, like how the aftercare was? Like, these types of things all play into the experience that your clients have with you. So if you haven't thought about your client experience before, I would encourage you to start writing these down, like writing it down step by step. What steps do your clients have to take, or potential clients have to take, very start to very finish, and how can you improve that experience? And this is one of those things where it just continues to get better and better. You learn more, your business evolves, so does your client experience, and things improve and over time and all of that. But are you putting your best foot forward with where you're at in your business right now for your clients, and giving them the best experience that you possibly can? And the client experience is something that I teach really in depth on in my course, my online course, Luxury Beauty Business. So if this is something that you feel like you need some more support on and really want to go in depth on, because what I've talked about today is just like a really brief overview of things, but if you want to really learn in depth how to have a good 5-star client experience, then my online course, Luxury Beauty Business, is like the perfect option for you. We go into this a lot inside of it, and there's like an entire client experience guide, everything. So that's the first point for the quality of your services, the next thing I want to talk about is the quality of your products. Now, I talked about this a little bit more when I did my interview with Cheryl Ping from Untamed Artistry. Love her so much. You can go back and listen to that episode if you haven't already. I don't remember which episode number it is, but it talks about like products and things like that. And we kind of talked about, picking your products that are going to give your clients like the best possible outcome. Like, are the products that you're using giving your clients what they're paying for? So in terms of lashes, when I think about what lashes am I going to use, I personally am not thinking about it from the perspective of what's the cheapest product that I can find. I'm thinking about it from the perspective of what kind of experience is this product going to give my clients? What kind of outcome and results is this product going to give my clients? So for adhesives, is this going to be really fumey for them? Is this going to give them, is it going to hold well? Or like gel pads, is this going to be comfortable for them? How can I make this service more comfortable for them? Or like even just the lashes themselves, like, is it easy for me to use? Like, am I able to fan the lashes out well? Do they stay together? Do they fall apart? Are they easy to fan? Because I fan on the strip. So like, am I able to easily fan on the strip? And I also think about it from the terms of, is it giving, are the lashes giving them a good outcome? So are they holding their curl? Do they have a good color to them? Like, these kinds of things, like, are they super matte or super shiny? Like, what kind of look? Like, I'm picking my products based on that because I want to make sure that I'm giving them really good quality and giving them what they're paying for. Like, I want to help them make the most of their investment. One of the ways that I can do that is by ensuring that I'm using good quality products and I'm not just picking products based on the prices. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that there's anything wrong with that because I know, especially when we're starting out or funds are tight, we're just getting our clientele started, that sometimes it is necessary to be picking products based on price. But I would also say, like, maybe you can see, cut back on expenses in certain areas so that you can spend a little bit more to get really good quality lashes, or like get a glue that's not going to be so fumey for them, or those kinds of things. Or even make sure that, you're taking into account like the prices that you have so that you can get a little bit better quality products too. And we're going to talk about numbers a little bit later on, but, really consider that in your pricing too. And just make sure that you've got quality products that you're using that are making your life easy and giving your clients the best possible outcome. And that's whether you do lashes or other services, whether that's nails or tans or hair or whatever it is. Like, are the products that you're using giving your clients the best end result possible? Is it making your life easy to use them? Those kinds of things. So that's quality of products. The next point within this section is continuing education. So part of giving your clients quality services is continuing your education and making sure that you're staying on top of trends and, new techniques, new products, especially within the lash industry itself. It is still so new. Like, in the United States, it's not been around for even like, I want to say like early 2000s is when it started getting going here. So it's really super new in comparison to like the hair industry or the nail industry. And there's still so much that we're learning about our products and our techniques, and so much evolution happening and change happening, and what's the word I'm looking for? Innovation happening. There's so much of that. And so I feel it's super important to stay on top of your continued education. And I always recommend taking at least one technique course every year so that you can stay on top of everything and make sure that you're staying up to date with everything and giving your clients the best quality service that you can because of it. And this isn't just like collecting certificates for the sake of collecting certificates or taking classes for the sake of saying you took that class. This is actually saying, okay, what course can I take that's going to better me as the beauty professional that I am? What course can I take that's going to give my clients better quality service or better quality experience, or how making it better for the clients? And how am I taking what I'm learning inside of this class and actually implementing it inside of my business and inside of my techniques? Because a lot of times, we take these classes, but we are so stuck in our habits inside of our business where, we've already got our process of what we do. We already have, we've gotten into these like muscle memory habits of how we're lashing or how we're doing nails or hair, or, how we're spray tanning and the technique you're using. But a lot of times when you take these newer technique classes, you learn something new that you can go and apply. So then it's actually practicing it and applying it and breaking those old habits and creating new ones, creating new muscle memory, and actually implementing it, because those classes are pointless if you're not going to take what you learned and implement it and make your service better for your clients. That's really the point of taking continuing education. So what courses can you take, or what course can you take, even if it's just like one a year, that's going to help you be a better service provider and going to help the quality of your services be better for your clients so that they can get the best possible outcome and make the most of their investment with you? And, what courses can you take that are actually going to further you in your career and, be a good option for you? And how are you implementing those things that you're learning inside of your business? Are you going into that course with an open mind and ready to change some of your habits? Because one thing I have noticed personally with teaching technique courses is that if it's a more experienced artist, someone who's maybe done lashes before, if I'm teaching a volume class, or even just like an older student, and that I'm nothing wrong with that, but I do notice that sometimes they're more stuck in their ways and not as open to learning something new or doing it in a different way. So definitely would say be open, have an open mind when you go into taking continuing education courses. And then the next part of the quality of your services, because I feel like a lot of times when someone says recession, people think drop your prices. And for me, what I think of instead of dropping my prices is more of the quality of it to make the service last the most that they can and helping them make the most of their investment. So for lashes, this is like, how is your retention? How can you better your retention and make it, learn everything that you can about it? So getting them good retention so that maybe they could go every 3 weeks instead of every 2 weeks and not have to come in as often. Or, for nails, making sure that their nails are lasting and they're not chipping or peeling, things like that, like making sure you've got good retention for nails. And the same thing with like tans and hair. Like, what are you doing to get your clients results within these services to where they could possibly go a little bit longer without coming in again, like stretch out their appointments a little bit more? Because for some clients, that is going to be what they're going to need to do if they want to keep having the services done. Like, they can't come in as often. So how can you help them make the most of it to stretch out a little bit longer and make sure that you're giving them like good retention and like good results from their service? Because even if you're a beginner and you're still learning, you still want to put your best foot forward to learn all you can and do your part to give them a good service, because everyone goes through bad retention sometimes, but the ones that rise to the top and are successful and keep going and have that full-time, like, thriving beauty business are the ones who keep trying, keep learning, and keep taking care of their clients to the best of their ability no matter what. Because you are going to have clients who are unhappy sometimes. You are going to run into a client who doesn't have good retention sometimes, but it really comes down to, are you doing your part to make sure that you are learning everything you can and putting your best foot forward for your clients? Because that's really what this comes down to. Everyone goes through bad retention sometimes, but it's the ones who keep trying, keep learning, and don't give up that rise to the top. So really doing everything you can to learn about retention. We've got a couple for lash artists. If you're a lash artist, I have a couple episodes with retention experts. There's one with Carrie Bristow and also one with Emily Lywood. So those are both ones you can go back and listen to if you haven't already. And I believe they both have online retention courses that are either already out or coming out very soon. I've personally taken Carrie Bristow's retention mastery course. Freaking amazing. I loved it. I took that back in 2020 and I would highly recommend it. I think hers comes out later this month. But if retention is something you're struggling with, it's something that to get support on, because it is a very important part of your artistry and a very important part of being a service provider, because clients do want to pay for services that are going to last, and lashes that are going to last, and hair and nails and hands and things that are going the duration that they are supposed to. So that is very important, especially when we are talking in terms of potential recession. The next and final topic for this section, the quality of your services, is educating on aftercare. This is seriously so important because it all ties it back into helping your clients make the most of their investment, because we know as beauty service providers, there's a lot that we can do on our end to make sure that they are getting good retention and to make sure that they are having a good experience and to make sure that they have a good quality service. There's so much on our end that we can do to ensure that, but there's also a lot that the client can be doing at home to make sure that they are receiving a good service and able to have a service that lasts the duration that it's supposed to. But this all ties back into the fact that you are the professional and it is your job to make sure that you are educating your clients on aftercare, because clients don't know any better. And a lot of times they're going to, if you're not educating them on it, they're going to listen to past beauty pros that they've been to, and who knows what they were taught there or not taught there. They're going to listen to their friends and family who've had those services done before and maybe really don't know what they're talking about. Or they're going to listen to like rumors that are, or myths that are still spreading around, like you can't get your lashes wet for 24 hours or don't wash your lashes, those kinds of things. So it is your job to make sure that you're educating them on aftercare to help them make the most of their investment and give them a good quality service and experience, because this really plays into both aspects, the experience and the quality of the experience and the quality of the service. So to give you an example of this, when I got braces on, when did I get braces on? Like almost a year and a half ago. So crazy. It's been that long. Anyway, when I got braces on, the office I was going to, and it's a different office now, someone else bought it. I love my new orthodontist and his team. They are amazing. But the original orthodontist that I was going to and his team, not that great. But the thing about it that I was unhappy with was that when I got my braces on the very first day, I've never had braces before. I don't know how to take care of them. I don't know what to do to like floss and brush and, you know, how do I put the wax on? How do I, what do I do? I have no freaking idea. But this girl who put my braces on was so grumpy, and, maybe she was just having a bad day or an off day, and I don't fault her for that because we all have off days sometimes, but like, she did not explain how to take care of my braces at all. She like put them on, told me to go up front and schedule my next appointment, and told me bye. And I had to be like, how do I take care of these? Like, do I brush normally? How do I floss? Like, how do I even use this wax stuff? Like, when do I use it? Like, literally, I mean, maybe that's something I could just look up on YouTube, but like, I shouldn't have to do the extra legwork to figure out how to take care of these. Like, that should be like a given when I'm in the office. Like, they should be telling me that and educating me on that. And, I had to ask her, and she was all annoyed and like, just gave me very basic instructions. I did end up going home and YouTubing it to just educate myself a little bit more in depth. But I thought back on that experience like later that night and was like, oh my gosh, like this is totally applicable to what I do too, because clients don't know how to take care of their lashes. They want to know how to take care of their lashes, just like I wanted to know how to take care of my braces, because for me, that was a really big investment and something that had been a really long time coming. And I wanted to make sure that I was making the most of that investment and like not going to break them off or, you know, whatever it is. Like I wanted to make sure I was doing things right and taking care of them. But I can't do that if I don't know how to and if I'm not being educated on that. So it's our job as the professional to make sure that our clients are very aware of how to take care of their lashes and how to make them last, how to take care of their hair, what products are going to be the best for them. People feel like it's so salesy and pushy to push like aftercare products on and like tell, you know, like hairstylists telling them like what products are going to be the best, like shampoo and conditioner to use with their hair color. And like it feels salesy and pushy, but it's like really not, because it's going to help them make the most of it. And at least me, from a consumer perspective, like I want to know that. Like I want to know how to make the most of it. I want to know what products to use, because I don't know. And if you're not telling me, I'm going to have to go find out from somewhere else, and who knows what I'm going to find there and if it's accurate information or not. So that really is so important, like educating on aftercare. And one thing I found with this is that even if it's a client who's had this service done before, it is not okay to just assume they know how to take care of the lashes or their hair or their nails or their tans or whatever services it is that you provide, because who knows what their previous artist or service provider has taught them. Especially with lash artists, a lot of aftercare procedures and information that's out there is inaccurate or not the most up to date at this point, like not getting them wet after 24 hours, or, you know, waiting 24 hours to get them wet, or people telling them not to wash them, or like the oil-based, you know, not using oil-based products. Like that's not really a thing anymore. So it's always important to make sure that clients are educated to your standard of aftercare, and ensure that you are letting them know what expectations that you have of them as a client of yours, so that they know. And one thing too, like another little story with this one, I had a client, so I had another lash artist working in my studio with me last year, and there was a client that complained that aftercare instructions were not given to her. Like the lash artist who took that client didn't explain aftercare to her. And so what ended up happening was that she had been given an aftercare sheet and signed it. I have like a signed copy of her aftercare sheet, which is kind of funny, but it wasn't gone over because she had already, you know, she was a new client fill. She'd been getting lashes for years, and it was just kind of assumed that she knew how to take care of lashes and didn't need to be reminded. So that was one thing that taught me that even though, you know, maybe they've had them on for years, it's good to inform them and make sure that you're doing your part. And, you know, for me, I was like, okay, you know, something we can learn from this. It was really like that client was very frustrating, but at the end of the day, I learned a lot from it and learned, okay, you know what, we're not going to make any assumptions. We're going to make sure every client is educated on how we do aftercare. You know, it's not enough to just give them the aftercare sheet. You have to like sit down and explain it to them and make sure, you know, do you have any questions? Like do your part and be the professional that you are. So this is all about the quality of your services. The next section we're going to talk about is knowing your numbers. So this is so important regardless of if there's a potential, you know, all of this is really important regardless of if there's a potential recession upcoming, but especially with, you know, this, I don't want to say it's like looming over our heads, but it kind of is in a way, you know, becoming more and more of a possibility. And knowing your numbers is going to help you feel so much more empowered as a business owner as you're making decisions on your pricing and, you know, if you're going to run a sale or not, or the investments that you're making inside of your business, or how much you're paying yourself. Like you are a business, and these numbers are so important for you to know, especially if you want to be like full-time thriving beauty business, or even part-time thriving beauty business, you still need to know your numbers. So you need to know things like how much you're spending out of pocket, what are your expenses, how much are you or how much is your out-of-pocket cost per service? How much are you spending per service? How much are you saving for taxes? How much are you allocating to further invest in your business? How much are you profiting or paying yourself? Like, these are things that you need to know, and whether you already know them or not, like, you've either got to learn how to do it or pay someone to do it for you, because as a business, it is a very essential part of running your business. This way you can make informed decisions on your pricing, your spending, your investments, if you can even afford to run a sale without losing money. And especially if there is a recession, this is going to be very important so that you can ensure that you stay afloat and that you are continuing to profit as the business owner and able to take care of yourself and your family and your financial responsibilities. And for myself, I personally recommend a CPA to help with like the tax side of things. That way mine lets me know how much to be saving and helps me with like write-offs and things, like what is considered a write-off, what's not. So I highly recommend a CPA for the tax side of things. You can also get someone like a bookkeeper that manages your like income and expenses for you. I know the book, I haven't read this one personally myself, but the book Profit First, I see that recommended frequently as a book to read for the financial side of business. So really, if you haven't already, or even if you already have, continue to educate yourself in this arena and get better and better with it and know these numbers. And if you don't know your numbers, I do have like a little mini course. It's basically like a spreadsheet that does all these numbers for you. So you put in like the very top of it, you put in what your income goal is for the month. And then you put in like how many hours you work and what your out-of-pocket expenses are, and it calculates everything for you to tell you what your minimum service prices need to be able to hit your profit goal or your income goal after expenses are deducted. So if that's something you need help with, I will put that link for that in the show notes below. But that also can be something that you like hire a bookkeeper for or take an entire course on. I know there are like CPAs and bookkeepers within the industry that teach really in depth on that. So that might be something to look into as well. So that is all about knowing your numbers. It's a very important part of running your business, especially if you're someone who wants to actually make profit in your business. So the next section we're going to talk about is your marketing skills, because now more than ever, you need actual marketing skills. You need to know how to be able to consistently bring clients in and keep them coming back in your business. So this really comes down to knowing like how to get found in searches by clients online, how to get your clients sending you referrals regularly, how to stand out as the go-to lash artist or hairstylist or nail tech or spray tan artist in your area, how to create return clients, how to create content that converts followers into paying clients, how to get seen by local potential clients daily, how to keep your books full consistently, and really just focusing on branding yourself as the quality, go-to, like good experience, good reputation beauty service provider in your area so that you can keep your books full and have clients coming into you consistently, because that's really what it comes down to, is not just like getting a client or two here and there, but consistently getting those clients and being able to keep your books full, because it's not going to be enough, and it already isn't enough to just have like a Instagram page for your business and not really know, kind of be like hit and miss with it and, posting and praying, or, just really going into it without a plan, because that's not going to equal consistent bookings or consistent clients, and that's not going to help you keep clients coming back either. So really marketing skills are going to be really important, and just knowing how to even brand yourself as a quality go-to, like good reputation, good experience, like all of those things, because it doesn't just come down to like having, just posting pictures of your work anymore, which is, sad for us. We've got to learn how to be a content creator and learn how to market ourselves. But if that's also something that you don't want to do, that's also something you can outsource as well. You can hire somebody to do that for you if that's not like your thing. But this is, marketing yourself is something that you're going to need to know how to do. It's part of being a solo business owner, and I think I've talked about this before on a live video. I don't know if I've talked about it before on a podcast, but a lot of solo beauty business owners have never owned a business before. They've never marketed themselves before. So a lot of times how they're learning how to do that is by watching what everyone else is doing and either being inspired by that or just straight up copying it. And the thing about that is that it's not necessarily going to get you long-term results, because a lot of times that doesn't result in actually having a plan of action for your marketing going forward. And it's just kind of like winging it, basically. And so that's why I feel like it's so important to actually learn marketing skills and to take like a course or hire it out or do what you need to do to continue your education in this arena, because marketing and business skills are just as important, if not more important, than technique skills. Because even if you're a very average lash artist or hairstylist or nail tech, like if you have good marketing skills and you know how to market yourself, you're still going to have a really thriving beauty business because of it. Like point blank. That's why you can see a lot of lash artists or hairstylists or whatever services it is, like that are really freaking good at their service and their technique, but they struggle to keep their books full because it doesn't just come down to good technique that's going to fill your books. It comes down to being able to effectively market yourself and then keep those clients coming back. Those two things hand in hand are full clientele gold. So marketing skills are very important. And obviously, if you feel like you need support in the marketing arena to increase and better your marketing skills, I've got online courses for this, and also do like mentorship calls with this where we can get you like a really custom plan, help you really learn it in depth, and get yourself in a position where you feel confident, like you can be consistently bringing in clients and not having to worry about where your next client's going to come from. And even just maybe if you even already have a steady flow of clients coming in, like being able to raise your prices and attract higher paying clients and just like take it up a level, take it up a notch, and improve and elevate your marketing skills and your business. So that's something that I can help you with and support you in. You can message me on Instagram or visit my website if you're interested in that. But the final section I want to talk about today is connections, because this is a very overlooked part of the industry in general and just like running a business, because connections are so very important to everything we do, especially in the beauty industry where we are typically working one-on-one with clients and they are coming in consistently and we are creating these relationships with them. Connections are going to be very important in not only booking clients, but also keeping them coming back to you. Connections really go a long way. And this doesn't mean like you got to be buddy-buddy with your clients or best friends with them, or you doesn't mean that you like don't have boundaries, but it does mean that you care and you are putting your best foot forward for your clients and you're showing that. Because good customer service isn't about the client is always right. It is about serving your clients to the best of your ability within your own boundaries and just really actually truly showing that you care and that you're trying your best for them. And, sometimes that can still result in clients parting ways or being unhappy on some level, but that's also you're doing what you can, you're putting your best foot forward, and sometimes that's not always like a match in the end. It's better to part ways with that client, but at the same time, like, if you've got a good connection with your clients, you're going to end up having clients who value you and value your time and your policies and the services that they are receiving, and they're going to make receiving that service a priority. This was something that I learned very hands-on in 2020, because obviously we know how crazy that year was. There were a lot of people out of work, struggling to pay bills, and it was a very difficult time for a lot of people. And as I was growing my clientele and building my business during this, I still had clients who were on unemployment and still getting their lashes done. Maybe they didn't tip, or they didn't tip as much, or they spread their appointments out a little bit further, but they were still coming in. And it was because, A, we had a good connection. I did what I could to make sure they were taken care of. I did what I could to give them a good experience, give them a good quality service, did what I could to make sure that they are able to make the most of their investment, and they value that service in their life. They value the difference that service makes in their lives, and they made it a priority to continue receiving it because of that. And I know I've even personally been in this situation before. How long ago was it? 3 or 4 years back, where finances were tight in our household, and I was like, talking to my husband, like, am I gonna have to stop getting lashes? And he was like, it's okay, like, you don't have to stop getting lashes unless it comes down to like food or lashes, we still gotta eat. But at the same time, because I valued that service and how it made me feel and the difference it made in my life, and I had a good connection with my lash artist, and I wanted to keep going in to see her, those kinds of things, like, that made us prioritize it in our budget. And, it's not going to be a priority for every client out there. Some people will and do have to cut that out, but it's not going to be everybody. And if they, value you and the service that they're getting, and they are receiving something that's really making a difference in their lives, because we all know how it feels to go get your lashes done and feel freaking amazing afterwards, and like on top of the world and feeling super confident, or like going to get your hair done and you just feel like amazing on cloud nine. You're like, I look so good. Like, the level of confidence that brings and what that helps you with, like, it's huge. And people will continue to prioritize and pay for that, especially when their service provider is someone that they have a good connection with. That makes a world of difference, especially when it comes to keeping clients coming back to you and not jumping ship for someone that's going to be maybe a little bit cheaper. Giving them a good service, having a good connection with them. Like I said, that doesn't mean you got to be best friends with them, but it does mean you put your best foot forward to make sure they are taken care of and that you are doing what you can for them. And that doesn't mean breaking your boundaries or being overly flexible or any of those kinds of things, but it just, for me, it comes down to like showing that I care and like, being empathetic. I think that's a good word for it. Being empathetic to them and doing what I can do within my boundaries to help them out the best and make sure that they're taken care of. So connections really do a lot and are very important, especially within the beauty industry. And I find that the clients I had better connections with were ones that referred me out to their friends and family more, were ones that stuck with me longer term, that came back again and again, were ones that no matter what was going on in their personal lives, they were in my chair every 3 weeks, every 2 weeks, whatever it was. So connections with your clients really go a long way, and I feel like it's something to really invest in and take initiative in. and actually like try for it. One little thing that I would do is just like little client appreciation gifts every now and again. Not anything like over the top or expensive. Like there was one year we did little Valentine's gifts. I got like the little 50-cent conversation hearts and little Valentine's Day cards, like the little cheesy ones. I think the ones I did were like fruit and they had like puns on them. I love puns, but anyway. And I just wrote them a little card and gave them like some conversation hearts. And it was just like these little things that I would do every now and again for them, just as a way to say thank you. And like, you know, it's nothing crazy, but it just is something that makes them feel important and feel seen and feel like cared about and valued, not just as like a client, but as a person. And another little thing I've done to further like foster connections with my clients is writing down little notes about them, especially if they're a newer client to me, so that I can remember little things about them and bring it up in conversation when they come back. So things like they've got 3 kids, they're going on a trip to Hawaii, they're a teacher, they're a nurse, or, you know, just little details about them, nothing like super personal, but just enough so that when they come back in, I can look at their notes really quick and be like, oh, hey, how was your Hawaii vacation? Oh, hey, how are your kids doing? How was your daughter's dance recital? How's work been? You know, you've been working night shifts. How's that going? Like little things like that just, it makes them feel important and like, oh man, you remembered that about me. And, you know, for me, I'm someone that is able to remember these details about people pretty easily. As long as I can remember what we talked about. You know, I might not remember your name right off the bat. I'm not always on top of names. But for me, if I can remember what we talked about during our appointment, I'm like, okay, yeah, I know who you are. I know exactly what we talked about, and like can continue the conversation. But that was also a learned skill because I would write down things about clients to begin with and, you know, really make an effort to get to know them and, you know, even relate with them on some level, and just be empathetic to them. You know, because clients do tell us a lot of things, and that doesn't mean you got to like take on all their problems and like, you know, try and fix them for them or give them a ton of advice, but does mean like you're just like a good listening ear and making them feel like validated in their feelings. Like, oh man, yeah, that would be really hard, or, you know, whatever it is, man, you did such a good job. Like, so proud of you. Like those, like just the little things, they really go a long way with making connections. So these are the 4 things that I personally feel can really help you strengthen your business to be recession proof and to help you stay afloat and continue to profit and continue to thrive no matter what is going on in the economy around us, because your business is set on a solid foundation that allows you to continue to weather the storm and grow. So this is kind of like, I don't know if you've heard that analogy of like building a house on sand or like building a house on a rock, and like the foundation that it gives. So like when a storm comes, you know, the one built on sand, like, I don't know, breaks away or floats away, I don't know, something. It's not a good foundation, so it doesn't last. But when the one built on the rock had that good foundation, so when the storm came, like, it was fine. That's the same thing with your business. Like, you've got to build it on a good, solid foundation that's going to allow you to continue to grow and continue to thrive regardless of the economy or any other outside sources or factors. So really, the quality of your services, we talked about a lot within that one. Knowing your numbers, marketing skills, being able to market yourself and get clients in the door consistently, and then the connections that you have with your clients, really giving them a good experience, going out of your way to care about them and make them feel like valued and cared about inside of your business. Those 4 things can really, you know, when you're intentional about them, they can make or break your business, and can also help you to be really prepared and confident going into whatever storms lie ahead for your business, because there are always going to be ups and downs in business, not even just with a potential recession, but just in general. Like, there's always ups and downs with businesses. And, really focusing in on these things is really going to take your business up to the next level and elevate it so that you are at the top, like you're higher up. I've heard, who was it? I think Leah Lash Pro say, the beauty industry is not saturated at the top because there's a lot of really subpar beauty service providers, and there's a lot of beginners and things, and there's nothing wrong with that, but there's not a lot of those that rise up and continue to get better and better and elevate and rise to the top. And, she had said it's not saturated at the top. And, if you really go out of your way to be intentional about your client experience, to be intentional about your continued education and the quality of your services and your marketing, and you really have like a solid business foundation with your numbers, what you're profiting, what you're paying yourself, what you're spending, you're setting aside money to continue to invest, you've got these good connections, how to keep clients coming back. These are the kinds of things that are going to get you through so many things in life and business. So I hope this was really helpful for you and eye-opening, and maybe just gave you a few things to start thinking about, because this isn't something that I want you to go out and overwhelm yourself with, trying to do all of the things, but pick a few things that you feel like, rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 in each of these sections. How are you doing? If it's a 6, 7 or less, then maybe that's one of the things you should prioritize moving forward, and learning more about, or improving and elevating on, because businesses, we get so nervous and scared to start them, because what if it's not perfect? What if it doesn't work out? What if I don't know enough? What if clients hate me? Whatever all the what ifs are. And the thing about it is our businesses are never going to be perfect. We're never going to be perfect, but we can start where we're at and continue to get better and learn more and fine tune and tweak it and try again and continue to elevate and evolve our businesses and learn from the hurdles that we jump over, or the hurdles that we go through, and the mistakes that we make, because we all make them, whether that's publicly advertised in everyone's social media highlight reels. Probably not, but they are happening. Just like everyone has bad retention, that doesn't mean they talk about it. Everyone goes through this, but it's the people who keep trying, keep caring, and keep moving forward that rise above and rise to the top, and really set themselves apart as a go-to beauty service provider in their area, and someone who is confidently leading their business and not leading from a place of fear and scarcity, but leading from a place of confidence and abundance. And, even if I make a mistake, I'm going to learn from it and keep moving forward kind of mindset. So that's what's going to be able to keep you going no matter what, whether it's a potential recession or a mad client or a mad student, or maybe you're having bad retention or whatever it is. It's that mindset of abundance and not giving up and keep going. So I hope this was all helpful for you. Thank you so much for listening. If this episode resonated for you, or felt really eye-opening, or just really helpful in any way, I would love for you to screenshot it and share it on your Instagram stories and tag me, so that we can reach more people within the industry. And thank you so much for being here. Be back again next week with another episode.